to Better Daily, where we work hard in our minds, bodies, and our spirits to become 1% better every single day. Download the app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. To catch the video version of these podcasts, here's your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What is up, Betterment family? This is Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Tuesday. It's Nutrition Tip Tuesday, and today we're going to go through a nutrition tip that will help you in your 1% betterment journey. So today I'm going to be talking about fasting, and one of the reasons I'm talking about fasting is a few of us in the group are doing a 24-hour fast together. And given the work I've done in the past, I've spoken a bit about fasting on the Defining Dad Bod podcast, and I can link that in the comments here. That way, if that's something you want to check out and hear what I have to say about fasting as both a spiritual and physical practice, then you can get a little bit more there. And we've also done a workshop where we've spoken about fasting as well. But today I wanted to give just a quick couple thoughts on fasting for those who maybe this is new to you, or maybe doing this in a positive and productive way is new to you. And so that said, here we go. So primarily, I wanted to be able to go live here and generate some questions. I definitely will be answering those, I imagine, in comments and whatnot, but also to talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys have asked me over the past 48 hours as we're fasting. And so one of the big ones I've had is about exercise. And the question is, Alex, should I work out when I fast? And that's a really good question. It has a lot to do with a couple things. First, if you're fasting for a long duration of time, and by long duration, those of us who are fasting together at this moment have agreed to a 24-hour fast. So I had dinner last night at 7, and I'm not eating again until dinner tonight, and so that's a 24-hour fast. And the question is, can I work out during that period of time? Well, that's a relatively short fast. For the vast majority of people, when it comes to, if you're exercising regularly, that means that your body is used to exercise, used to the demands of exercise. If you're exercising regularly, and if you don't have anything significantly wrong with you from a blood sugar perspective, meaning you're not wrestling with diabetes or some interesting thyroid dysfunction or something like that, then as far as you're concerned, a 24-hour fast really wouldn't shoot you in the foot from an exercise perspective. If you got up this morning and you're 12 hours fasted, maybe 10 hours fasted, depending on how long you slept, if you got up this morning, you could still work out. You could still do whatever you would normally do from a workout perspective. You could go for a run, you could lift weights, you could swim, you could cycle, you could do yoga, right? Now, the only thing that'll affect on a 24-hour fast is how hungry you feel around 3 p.m., right? When you start getting closer to where your glycogen stores are dwindling. So in a 24-hour fast, for most people, that's around the 16 to 20-hour mark. That's when your glycogen stores, the stored carbohydrates in your system, have tapped out. When you get to that point, your body starts throwing out some pretty intense hunger cues, and it's starting to transition from a fed state to a fasted state. And so if you are transitioning in that time period and you exercise earlier in the day, all that's going to mean is that your glycogen stores are going to be emptier sooner. You're going to churn through those glycogen stores a little bit faster. And, we're getting some comments in here, and some people are saying, hey, sometimes that takes me longer. Maybe that's a 24-hour thing for me. And that's fine. Everybody's metabolic rates are a little bit different. I find for me that the initial intense hunger during that transition time, if I'm going to get a lull in energy, if I'm going to get fatigued and whatnot, that for me starts around the 16 to 18 hour mark. And once that's over with, then, my body's transitioned to metabolizing fat as a fuel source, getting used to not having any glycogen on hand. And so the hunger cues aren't really that intense thereafter for me. So anyway, the yes or no answer to the question is, exercising during fasting is fine if your fasts are short. It's 24-hour fast. You can exercise during your fast. It'll make you hungrier a little sooner, but that's about it. I wouldn't do anything like groundbreaking. I wouldn't try to lift more than you've ever lifted in a deadlift, for instance, or run faster than you've ever run on your run. But it should be fine. Now, if you're going longer in a fast, if you're doing something like a 48 hour, 72 hour, that's when you have to start getting smart about exercise. And that's when, as far as exercise is concerned, you would be better off just sticking to a light walk as opposed to, doing some heavyweight lifting or something along those lines. You should be able to get away with maybe some light yoga, light walk, maybe even light weight training if you want to keep things moving. And then after that 72-hour mark, if you're doing longer fast than 72 hours, then exercise definitely just needs to be completely put on the back burner. You're not going to get any adaptive benefits by stressing the system that's already being stressed through fasting. And that's actually the point at which the metabolism starts to decrease as well. So for most people, when you fast, you actually get a slight metabolic uptick until that 72-hour mark. And then after the 72-hour mark, after a 3-day fast, that's when your metabolism, your metabolic rate starts to come down, and exercising during that particular time frame starts to become something that's more stressful to the system than helpful. So we've got a few questions rolling in. I'm going to take them as they're coming. One asks, what are some foods that are easy to digest when breaking a fast? I don't want to be, bloated and yucky tonight. That's a really good question. For many people, it's more about the quantity of food that you consume after your fast than necessarily what you actually eat, right? So some people make the mistake of breaking a fast after 24 hours. You're kind of hungry, right? So when you go to eat dinner, you're like, oh man, and you eat 3 or 4 more servings than usual of different things. And that said, that's the biggest thing I would tell you don't do. Your eyes are bigger than your tummy in that moment. That's not so great for you because you're hungry, and eating too much is a really good way to make your digestive system angry with you. So eat the normal amount you would normally eat, or maybe even a little bit less. Your digestive system has had a break. And so when you come back to eating, then you want to introduce it nice and slow, right? The second thing I would recommend as far as types of foods and stuff is try to eat a little less fat than you might normally. And by that I mean cooking in heavy oils and whatnot, or adding significantly more dressing to your salad, or maybe not red meats tonight. Maybe you'd be better off doing some leaner seafood or something. That will help you a lot as well. So steering away from the fat intake, and that's just because your digestive system has had the opportunity to take a break. And so adding some of that heavier, fattier things that take much longer to digest would be easier on your system. And then last but not least, I really love breaking fast with some good lean meats, some veggies, and some fruit, and like high polyphenols, right? So like corn. I'm not saying corn's bad for you, but corn is just carbohydrates. There's not a whole bunch of nutrients in corn. I would rather have those carbohydrates from something like broccoli, carrots, blackberries, that sort of thing. And in many cultures, they actually break fasts with particular types of fruit. So like in I just blanked just a second. In the Middle East, during Ramadan, it's normal to break a fast with it just left me again. I'm going to call that fasting brain. It's normal to break a fast with what is it? Is it fig? It's not a fig. It's something like a fig, though. A date. Aha, there we go. It's a date. Not date with your wife, date the fruit. So they break their fast with dates. And there are some cultures that break their fast with figs and that sort of thing. And the idea is, get some high-level nutrients, a little bit of fiber, a little bit of sugar in your system to just kind of come back up out of there. And we've got some people saying, hey, hummus and broccoli. We got raw veggies, celery and cream cheese. We've got quiche. That would be yummy. Eggs and broccoli. I actually love breaking fast with eggs. That's breakfast, right? Break fast. That's a normal breakfast food, is something that people eat in the morning more often than not. But, if you're fasting throughout the day and you're going to have dinner this evening, and the reason eggs have everything that the body needs to build itself. And I can say that because, an egg is going to build a chick. It's an enclosed system that would normally grow whatever's going to grow in an egg. If it's a chicken egg, then it would be a chicken after a few weeks of incubation, right? And that's what your body needs when you fast, is everything that it needs to restore itself, everything required for life. We've got crab cakes, shrimp cocktail, fruit and veggie tray, persimmons. Man, we're getting creative here. So yeah, anyway, we're maximizing the quantity of nutrients versus the heaviness of the fuel in the food, right? So by that I mean, like I said, corn, great source of carbohydrates. You can run some corn off, right? But corn isn't really high in nutrient density. Whereas blackberries, for the same amount of carbohydrates that you're getting from a serving of blackberries, has way more polyphenols, has great fiber, right? There's a bunch of vitamins and minerals in there. So that's what you want to steer toward, is those high nutrient density foods that aren't going to be hard for your body to digest and just getting fuel back in the body. And I've been going on here for a little bit, so I'll cut it short in just a second. But this is something a lot of people don't understand about fasting. When it comes to what your body needs from your food, when you fast, you realize that you don't really need to eat all day. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying you don't need to. And when you understand that your body is a really great storage mechanism, you can store fat really well. And fat is an amazingly dense energy source. 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories wrapped up in it. Okay, 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories. Let's say you have 10 pounds of fat on you. I weigh 165 pounds. I'm about 6% body fat. I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 pounds of fat on my body right now, which means I have 35,000 calories of fat just in my body, ready to be used whenever I need to use it. So theoretically, if I decided I'm not going to eat today and I'm going to fast for this week, what my body will be lacking from that is not fuel. It's not going to need carbohydrates. It's not going to need fats. Might need a little bit of protein to, keep up my muscle mass and stuff. But what my body's really going to be craving is all of the nutrients required to keep the reactions in my body working. All the electrolytes required to keep the reactions of my body in balance. All of the building blocks required to rebuild my cells, right? And so when it comes to breaking a fast, you might be hungry, but you're not hungry for energy. You've got plenty of energy on you right now, unless you're just significantly low body fat and a really tiny person. But you have plenty of energy on your body right now. You want to break your fast with something that's high in nutrients, high in protein, relatively high in polyphenols and fiber and whatnot, and give your body the good stuff, the stuff that it didn't get today. Because from an energy perspective, you have plenty of it if you can tap into your fat stores. There's plenty of it there. You can last for a good long time on what your body's stored up. But breaking your fast has a lot to do with being nice to your digestive system and giving your body a good amount of nutrients. So, great questions. I love this dialogue about fasting. Thank you guys for your ads, those of you who joined us live here. And feel free, obviously, to post, if you're catching the replay on this, to post a question in the comments, and I'll get back to that. Guys, this has been Alex Van Houten in Better Daily. Thanks for joining me for Tip Tuesday. Until next time, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for your 1% Better today. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast. Leave us a raving review to tell others how Better Daily has helped you in your journey. If you want more Better Daily, download our app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. Use code POD to get 25% off your subscription. That's POD, all caps, to save 25% on your subscription. We all have a cross to carry. It's later when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.live today.